Good afternoon. My name is Joe Thompson. I'm the acting United States Attorney for the District of Minnesota. Yesterday, Minnesota was attacked. It was an attack, first and foremost, on our children and our families, an attack at a school and in a place of worship. It was also an attack on our city, our state, and our country. The U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, ATF, and other federal law enforcement are working with state and local partners to investigate this heinous act. Our investigation is twofold. First, we are seeking to confirm what we believe to be true, which is that the shooter acted alone and that no one else was involved, that the threat died with the shooter yesterday.
Patriots, before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with every freedom-loving American you know. The mainstream media will spin this tragedy, but the truth is clear. What happened in Minnesota was pure evil. It wasn't just an attack on a city, it was an attack on America's children, our families, our churches, and our very way of life. The shooter's writings were filled with hate for nearly everyone and admiration for past mass murderers. This was a heart poisoned by evil. And yet, we know how the left will respond with more calls for gun control, try to strip rights from law-abiding citizens. But guns weren't the problem here. Evil was the problem. A broken culture was the problem. We live in a society that glorifies violence, mocks faith, undermines family, and distracts us with identity politics, while leaving our children exposed to predators and killers. What chills me most is a shooter's obsession with targeting defenseless children at school and church, a reminder of how urgently we need to restore moral foundations in America.
One group of people who the shooter admired. The group were the school shooters and mass murderers that are notorious in this country. The shooter idolized some of the most notorious school shooters and mass murderers in our country's history. I won't name them, just like I won't name the shooter. They don't deserve to have their names remembered. As I said, the shooter left behind hundreds of pages of writings. There is a lot to digest, and we'll know more in the coming days and weeks as we've had an opportunity to go through them. But reading them, one thing is clear, and it's going to be hard to hear, but it's important to the question of why this happened. More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable among us while they were at their most vulnerable at school and at church.
Now, law enforcement did their job and stood together, federal, state, and local, but by the time they act, lives have already been lost. Prevention comes not from government overreach, but from strong families, strong communities, and a nation that once again fears God. We're living in an age where evil is celebrated and good is demonized, but we cannot let this continue. Patriots, do not let this tragedy be in vain. Pray for the families, support law enforcement, and most of all, stand up for truth. This is a fight of our lifetime. Hit that subscribe button. Share this video with your friends, family, and co-workers. Together, let's defend faith, family, and freedom, and remind the world that America is still one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.